So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ahmaduhu wa usalli ala Rasul al-Kareem, amma ba'd. فقال عز وجل وإذ قال يوسف يا أبت إني رأيت أحد عشر كوكبا والشمس والقمر رأيتهم لي ساجدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب. So today I want to show you a interesting, you can say, sign or miracle, or you can say indication in the Quran in Surah Yusuf that has to do with numbers and words. As you all know, Surah Yusuf calls itself Ahsan al-Qasas, the best of the stories. And the word Qasas, as we also have a surah in the Quran called Qasas. The word Qasas, what does it mean? It means story. But what does the word Qasas mean when you look at the, dig a little deeper? The word Qasas means to retrace something, the tracks of something. To go back and trace the tracks of something. So we're going to do that with this surah today. We're going to, within this story, look at some literary, what is called literary devices, and look at its arrangement in terms of numbers. Okay, so like for example, I'll mention this in the very beginning, even though this is not the exact topic. In Surah Yusuf, one of the literary devices is the shirt. Okay, it's mentioned in the beginning when they bring the shirt and they say, they bring the shirt with the blood of the wolf, and they say this is Yusuf's blood, he has been killed. And then in the middle, where the woman is chasing him and she tears off his shirt, right? And then at the end, where the shirt of Yusuf ﷺ is given to his father and his eyesight returns as a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is kind of like retracing your steps back, retracing a story back, looking at the history of something. And so in this sense, I'll show you, for example, the word qasas in the Quran usually means to relate, okay, to tell a story or a narration. But if you will notice, in Surah Kahf, for example, قَالَ ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي, this is what we were looking for, this was what our goal was. فَارْتَدَّ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمَا قَصَصًا, and then they traced back their steps from where they were to where they were supposed to be. Okay, so obviously there's a relationship between telling a story and retracing, or telling you history and retracing something back. Okay, so this is what we're going to do in this surah, inshallah ta'ala. So this is a surah in which you can retrace many things, like I gave the example of the shirt. But this is also surah number 12, and it is Surah Yusuf. So is there something about this beautiful story? And by beautiful story, if we take it from a literary perspective, it means that it uses literary devices, literary techniques very eloquently in this surah. Okay, so it's surah number 12, and we're going to look at a specific word that is repeated in 12 different verses of the Quran, of this surah. Okay, so this is surah number 12, Surah Yusuf, and this surah uses a certain word in 12 different verses of this surah. Okay, and then we'll take it and extend it further. So let me start by showing you those verses. Okay, and that word is ra'a. Okay, the root word being ra, alif, and ya, or a type of alif. And so it's used in 12 different verses, and so I'm going to just go over the basic meaning and definition of them. إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ, and when Yusuf said to his dad, Ya abati, oh my dear dad, inni ra'aytu, I see. Okay, so this is the word we're looking at. Ahada ashra kawkaban wa shamsa, I see the sun and the moon, 11 of them, and the sun, and 11 stars, and shamsa wal qamar, and the sun and the moon. Ra'aytahum li, I see them to me prostrating, li sajidin. Now, in literary device, I'll tell you when something is repeated, like he already said, oh my dad, I see 11 stars and the sun and the moon. He could just say bowing down to me. But then he said, he repeats it, رَأَيْتَهُمْ, and I saw them, لِي سَاجِدِينَ. So in other words, if the ayah read, إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشْرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ لِي سَاجِدِينَ, I saw them bowing down. But رَأَيْتَهُمْ, repeating a word to add emphasis. But this is another literary device that I'm going to talk about at another time. So the first verse is this one. وَإِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشْرَ كَوْكَبًا وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتَهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. The second one is in ayah number 5. قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَكَ عَلَى إِخْوَتِكَ. Oh my dear son, don't tell your dream to your brothers. Then ayah number 24, it says, قَدْ حَمَّتْ بِهِ وَحَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَنْ رَأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّي. That Yusuf ﷺ would have been made an intention to go towards what he was being seduced to or what he was being inclined to, had he not seen the burhan, the proof from his Rabb, from his Lord. Next, فَلَمَّا رَأَى قَمِيصَهُ قُدَّ مِنْ دُبُرٍ. When they saw the shirt was torn from the back. Okay, and then in next verse, قَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي مَدِينَةِ امْرَأَةِ الْعَزِيزِ تراود فتاها عن نفسي قد شغفها حبا إنا لنراها. We see her. So this is the word we're looking at, to see. And this word see also means to see a dream when it is in the nominative sense. And when it is not, when it is in the verb, it means to see. When it is a noun, it means a dream. Okay? And then also the verse رأيت أكبرن وقطعن أيديهن فَلَمَّا رَأَيْنَاهُ, and when they saw him, meaning Yusuf ﷺ, when she said, okay, when she had all the women sitting, and she's had the different slaves working, and they're all wondering, where is he, where is he? And then she finally calls him, okay, you come here. And when they saw him, they were so taken aback that they cut their hands. And then 12:35, okay, and then when he goes into the prison, it's mentioned 3 times there, but in that particular ayah. Then in ayah number 45 it's mentioned. Ayah number 59 it's mentioned. إِنَّا لَنَرَاكَ مِنَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Indeed, we see you as a very muhsin, a person of good character. Then finally, in ayah number 100. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. Now, in the last verse, ayah number 100, you see this word. It is the 12th word of the sentence. Okay? وَرَفَعَ أَبْوَيْهِ عَلَى عَرْشٍ. وَرَفَعَ 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, let me show you again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My dream is number 12 of ayah number 100. Okay? So, repeat, it's surah number 12. 12 verses, repeat the word to see or to see a dream. And then, ayah number 100, the last of those verses, mentions the word dream, the 12th word in that verse. Okay? Then, let's move forward. And there are how many verses in this surah? 100 and, okay? There are 111. So, if you count from 100 to 111, is how many verses of the Quran? 12 verses of the Quran. Okay? So this is an example of a small way, especially in the surah, You can use many, many examples of this type of literary beauty, literary beauty to show the beauty of something. Now, just to kind of like compare this with, let's say, examples of repetition in literature, for example, so that you might, okay. So, for example, repetition example in literature is Nori was a Catholic because her mother was a Catholic. Nori's mother was a Catholic because her father was a Catholic. Her father was a Catholic because her mother was a Catholic or had been. So this is a repetition that is not that beautiful, but it's kind of like a joke. Okay, so let's look at other examples of repetition. I felt happy because I saw others were happy, and because I knew I should feel happy, but I wasn't really happy. So here's a repetition of the word happy, right? Another example is, this is a little bit more sophisticated way of using repetition, but good morning to ye and thou, I'd say to all my patients, because I was the worst of the hypocrites, of all the hypocrites, the cruel and phony hypocrites. So the word hypocrites has been used 3 times, and the word worse twice. I was the very worst. Okay? So I said yes to Thomas Clinton, and later thought I had said yes to God, and later I realized I'd said yes only to Thomas Clinton. Okay? So this is an example of repetition in literature. Now you can compare that to the type of repetition, whether it was the shirt, or whether it was to see, whether it was to see a dream, or to see him, or we see her as going crazy after this guy, or so the word to see used in different ways, okay, and meaning as a dream and to see, and then used in Surah number 12 times, and in the last of them on the 12th word, leaving space between ayah number 100 to 111 for 12 ayahs. And you can learn about these literary devices, there are hundreds of them, and apply them to the Quran, and then you can show yourself or the world that how the Quran is the best literature. And this surah, in this small surah, it employs so many of these aspects of literary beauty, using a word over and over again, but you never realize that it's using this word over and over again. You never realize it's using the word shirt as a literary device over and over again. And that is part of the beauty of the Quran and the miracle of the Quran. And what's more beautiful, when it also has a mathematical aspect along with its literary aspect together, combined together as a beautiful way of expressing something. Because the whole surah is about a dream coming true. Yusuf ﷺ the whole surah starts with Yusuf saying to his father, Ya abati inni ra'aytu ahada ashara kawkaban wa shamsa wal qamara ra'aytahum li sajidin. Oh my dear dad, I saw the sun and the 11 stars and the sun and the moon bowing down to me. And he's telling them over and over again. This is how it starts. And how does it end? It ends with ayah number 100 saying what? Ayah number 100 says is the explanation of the verse where it talks about the dream, where it says in ayah number 100, وَرَفَعَ أَبْوَيْهِ عَلَى الْأَرْشِ, and he elevated his parents to the throne. Okay, وَخَرُّوا لَهُ سُجَّدًا, and they all fell before him in prostration, meaning the brothers. قَالَ يَا أَبَتِي, now he's standing there, and they're bowing down to him in respect. He says, oh my dear dad, do you remember that dream I had that the surah starts with in ayah number 4, right? Ya abati, oh my dear dad, هذا تأويل رؤيا, this is the interpretation. This was that what the sun and the 11 stars bowing down to me. This is it. Ya abati هذا تأويل رؤياي من قبل, from before. قد جعلها ربي حقا, and my Lord has made this dream come true. Has made it come true. It is true. Okay, so Allah made that dream come true. And so the whole surah is about what? Starting with ayah number 4, okay, where he tells his dad. Okay. وَإِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ لِأَبِيهِ, and remember when Yusuf said to his father, Ya abati, oh my dear dad, إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشْرَ كَوْكَبًا, I see 11 stars, وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ, and the sun and the moon, رَأَيْتَهُمْ, I see them, لِي سَاجِدِينَ, to me, they were all bowing down. And so Yusuf is saying, my dad, that was in the ayah number 100 is the end of the story, and is going back to the dream that it started with, the first verse of the story, which is this verse. So, Surah number 12, 12 verses that repeat this verse, this word, to see. And in the 100th ayah, it's the 12th word, and then there are 12 ayahs between ayah number 100 and 111. That's also 12. So, is this all made up? It's all an accident? Or is this literary beauty? Is the Quran telling this story? You tell between you and the person you're telling a story, you're relating some information that they understand. Otherwise, the point of having a story is lost. If your readers, if your listeners don't understand your story, you're just telling them gibberish, and it has no beauty. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't do anything without any beauty. Right? And so this is the problem with Dr. Hani, for example. He just says things that that have a meaning that he wants to give, but the beauty of it is lost. Anyway, I will end here for now. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.